I'm available for anything and everything from now on. You can tell the clerks that.
Don't worry, you'll be in constant demand now that you're back full-time.
Yes, well, full-time till we get the Tories out. I trust the misguided souls who put Lindsay in will soon realise the error of their ways.
I voted for him.
Well, if the cap fits, Nigel. Yes, we better give that one to James. That could clash. But, yes, I'll take this one, and that one, yes, and, yes, and this one, too.
How's Joyce?
Joyce is fine. Who's S. Arnold?
She's new to Chambers.
What does the S stand for?
Stephanie. Do you want to meet her?
No, I better do that later. I've got to go. Are we, having lunch today?
Fine.
Well, I've got to be sworn in this afternoon. I can meet at the House of Commons at 1. We can eat there if you can stand it.
All right.
Hello. I thought I'd come and introduce myself.
Stephanie Arnold.
Yes.
Raymond Gould. Welcome to Bleak House.
Thank you.
Well, I'll see you later.
I, Simon Kerslake, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, her heirs and successors according to law, so help me God.
Congratulations, Simon. Increased majority, I see. Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I, Peter Johnson, do swear that I will be faithful.
Here we go again. Doesn't seem like 6 years, does it?
No, at least we're prefects now.
That's true. Are you showing anyone around?
No, but I can't hang about. I have to see the Home Secretary.
Oh, don't let me keep you. He obviously admires your talent.
What do you mean?
Number 2 in the Home Office. Can't be bad.
I hope you're not implying I didn't earn it.
Oh, you said it. Don't forget who's your opposite number.
I won't. I'll show you no mercy, at least in here.
Her heirs and successors according to law, so help me God.
All I can recommend it highly. It's a very good read. Simon, you enjoying your first tastes of victory?
Can I still call you Christopher, or must it be Home Secretary?
Well, Christopher will do in here, but in the Home Office I'll settle for Your Majesty. You know Paul, of course, Robin?
Of course. Has Bainbridge surfaced yet?
I think he's still licking his wounds. Don't believe it. Now, George is a dangerous man in opposition.
Good. No government can be secure for long without a formidable opposition. Disraeli.
Literacy in the Home Office. That'll make a nice change. Well, here's to another 13 years of Tory government.
Thank you, Joey. Cheers.
Well?
I think when you've finished it, it'll be very, very good.
Now tell me the truth.
I mean it.
What did you like about it?
Oh, the period feeling, Tudor life.
And what?
The whole atmosphere. I particularly like the character of Darnley.
Dudley.
No, I meant Dudley.
What did you like about him?
Well, I'm not a book critic, Fiona. I just liked it, that's all. I think it's very impressive.
You hated it.
I did not hate it.
Well, you skipped pages, I saw you.
Well, why the hell did you ask me to read it if you're not prepared to listen to what I have to say? I'm not a historian. I get very little time to read. I spend 90% of my time being a whip. So I'm really not the right person to ask. Please try to understand that.
It's boring, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank God for that. The idea of finishing the damn thing was giving me nightmares. Thanks for plying through it, anyway.
In fact, I rather hoped the phone would ring. I'm surprised it didn't.
No surprise at all. I took them off the hook.
You've done what? Do you realize what you've done?
Yes, I've kept your attention for once. You don't know how blissful it was to have silence for an hour.
Seymour?
Now, there's no point in disguising the fact that this will be the most difficult bill to get through Parliament that any of us will have to encounter. certainly in the present term. That is why I need one man to devote himself night and day to the task. And I may say immediately that I don't envy him. Therefore, I will not designate, but ask instead for a volunteer. Now, it's not just a question of ensuring that MPs vote for Britain's entry into the common market. The problems lie deeper than that. There are many members on our side who do not, as yet, share the Prime Minister's commitment to joining the EEC. In contrast, quite a few of the opposition who do. However, we have the problem of presenting the bill to curb the trade unions at the same time. This may well deter many Labour MPs from voting with us. The Prime Minister will want to know, periodically, how many from the opposition can be relied upon to break ranks when the crucial vote is taken. That, gentlemen, is not a part-time job, nor, may I add, is it a task to be undertaken by anyone who has any problems elsewhere. And I think you all understand what I mean by that. So, who shall it be?
I'll take it on.
Thank you, Charles. I wasn't expecting such an immediate response.
As you know, I'm as committed to this issue as the Prime Minister.
Loyalty alone will not be enough, Charles. It'll need blood, sweat, and God knows what else. Good luck. Thank you, gentlemen. Charles.
He's gambling everything on this one. If we lose the final vote, he'll be sentenced to the backbenches for life. And if we win, it'll be hard to keep him off the front bench.
And Mowgli never forgot that he owed his life to Car for a night's work at Cold Lairs, which you may perhaps remember, went to congratulate him. Skin changing always makes a snake moody and depressed, till we...
Hello. What are you doing up?
I couldn't get to sleep, Daddy.
It's very late, Michael. Why isn't he in bed? Come on, up you go.
Go on, darling. I'll be up in a minute. Maybe he can't sleep because all he sees every evening is a babysitter.
Whose fault is that?
Go on, darling. Get into bed. It's midnight.
I know. It's Thursday tomorrow. I can lie in. Till 8, anyway.
Now that you've demonstrated your concern for Michael, will you please start showing the same concern for your other son? You haven't answered.
I'm waiting for the supplementary.
It's simple. Peter is 10 years old and you hardly ever see him. Why?
Wadham House is hardly next door.
It's only an hour away. You take the M4 and you go down to Junction.
I went to his carol service.
That was at Christmas. I work too, Simon.
I'm aware of that.
Sometimes wonder if you really are. You never ask where I've been all day, why I come home at 3 in the morning, or hating everybody because I've had to tell a patient that she's got cervical cancer, or a mother who's given birth to
I'd listen if you told me.
I don't want to have to tell you. I simply want you to understand that you're not the only one in this family with problems.
I was told when I entered Parliament that your severest critic would be your own wife.
Common sense in the Commons. Who'd have believed it?
I was also told that every politician's wife is a frustrated politician.
I think the truth is that every politician's wife is a frustrated wife. Who are you ringing now?
Peter.
Oh, I'm sure Matron will love that. He's been in bed for 3 hours.
And I'll write him a letter.
Oh, in your own handwriting? Or will you dictate it to your secretary tomorrow morning?
Now look, what started all this? Just because Michael can't sleep, well, nor can I. But he doesn't have to spend 15 hours in the House of Commons, then come home expecting comfort. And instead, all he gets...
It's criticism from the front bench.
Cut it out!
How many drinks did you have with Christopher before you came home?
I quite follow your logic.
Look, our country has a Home Secretary who drinks more than he ought, which in Parliament is quite a lot.
half a dozen MPs who drink more before breakfast than Christopher does all day. Anyway, it's his problem, not yours.
It is if you emulate him. I'd rather have a healthy husband who is unemployed than a future cabinet minister who spends more time in the Westminster bars than he does with his own family.
Anything else?
Dear Peter, try that for a start.
I have to do the box first. And then in August of last year, within 48 hours, 5 people were killed and 200 injured in Belfast and Londonderry. Only last week, a boy of 19 was shot dead in the Falls Road. We cannot allow this civil strife to continue. And, Mr. Speaker, to deny the renewal of emergency powers in the province would be to totally...
Mr. Michael O'Donovan.
Mr. Speaker, when the honourable gentleman talks of emergency powers, is he not disguising in that euphemistic phrase the dispatchment of hundreds of armed troops across the Irish Sea with the sole purpose of inflaming an already volatile but domestic situation, not only with rubber bullets, but with real ones?
The honourable gentleman talks about troops as if they were an invasion force. May I remind him that they are British soldiers on British territory. They have as much right to be there as they do on Salisbury Plain.
The honourable gentleman give way.
Mr. Michael O'Donovan.
They have not, I trust, been given orders to shoot the residents of Salisbury Plain.
Indeed, they would be given such orders if the citizens of Salisbury Plain were revealed to be a terrorist army from a foreign republic.
Never changes. Are we to allow violence to continue in Ulster, whether at the hands of the IRA, Protestant extremists, or even the troops themselves? The House must realise that there is only one answer, or the streets of Belfast will become a battlefield. I will continue to condemn any measure that might endanger the life of any British citizen. And let me make it absolutely clear to the honourable member opposite that I do mean any British citizen.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Clive Samuelson.
Is it not a tradition of this House for a front bench spokesman to have the courtesy to remain in his seat during the debate? So that he may listen to views other than his own?
That is not point of order.
Mr.
Simon
Speaker,
Kerslake.
I accept the point my right honourable friend makes and would have complained myself had I not known that the honourable gentleman, the member for Edinburgh Carlton, has spent most of the afternoon in St Mary's Hospital, where his wife was in labour. I'm not given to accepting as necessarily accurate all that the opposition tells me, but I am able to confirm this statement because, in fact, it was my own wife who delivered the baby. Those of you who enjoy statistics, I can inform the honourable gentleman that it is a boy and that he weighs 4 pounds and 3 ounces. Gentlemen, just give me a minute. Very happy to talk. Marvellous news.
Thanks very much for rescuing me. And,
just over 4 pounds doesn't sound very big to me.
No, I know. He's stuck in an incubator at the moment, but your wife's doing everything she can to fatten him up. I'm off to watch him just now.
Good luck.
Thanks.
How do you feel about rape?
Can't see why it's relevant.
I think they'll go for something.
Why?
I'm stopped by the police 2 miles from my house for speeding. They notice blood on my jacket. At the same time, you are found murdered, stabbed 4 times in the chest and stomach. Not on some wasteland, not in a ditch, but on the kitchen floor of my house. Besides, you are my stepdaughter, so I can hardly deny I know you. Also, the blood on my jacket matches not mine, but yours. Conclusions so far?
Still circumstantial. It could have been an intruder who attacked me.
And there's no sign of a break-in, no broken lock, no damage at all. The inference is that you knew your killer. Trusted him. Perhaps even lived with him.
A lover.
No doubt you had a lover, but you didn't live with him. You lived with me. Just the 2 of us, stepfather and stepdaughter.
We could still be lovers.
Yes, agreed. But you were sexually assaulted, or at least you had sex immediately prior to your death.
It doesn't necessarily mean I was raped. I could have wanted to be seduced by you.
Well, unfortunately, a corpse can't tell the court that.
I was naked, wasn't I? And my clothes weren't torn. In fact, my dress was folded over a chair, which can only imply that...
You wanted me to make love to you.
Exactly.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how they prove rape. And that's something we can discuss with Nigel tomorrow. Good. Would you like another drink?
No, thank you, I'm fine.
Could I have another one, please? Thank you.
How long have you been married?
About 9 years.
Any children?
No.
Any reason why?
Why what?
No children.
Well, there's always a reason.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cross-examine.
No. You weren't. Besides, I'd rather talk about you.
God, are we on fire?
No, it's the division bell. 1 or 2 pubs and restaurants near the house have them. I've got about 8 minutes. I have to go and vote.
How long will you be?
About 20 minutes.
Then I'll wait for you.
Well, you don't have to. See you later.
Taxi!
You keep attractive company, Gould.
She works for me.
So does my secretary, during the day.
This looks more like a bachelor flat.
Well, I suppose, because that's what it is.
Don't you get lonely?
From time to time.
Do you ever make your bed?
There usually isn't any need.
You're still very unsure of yourself with women.
Well, what do you propose that I do about it?
My learned friend accept that as a satisfactory reply.
Dear Ronnie, further to our telephone conversation, I now confirm in writing that, as a government minister, I can no longer remain as a director on the board of Nethercote and Company. Stop. However, I would like to be kept informed of all developments, including the minutes of each meeting. Come in. What's that?
Proposals for the Boundaries Commission.
Where was I? Oh, yes. Naturally, I am keen to be told in advance, as soon as you reach a decision to go public. Stop. Kindest regards, etc., etc. Christopher, can I have a word with you?
I have to see the PM 5 minutes ago.
So when you're free?
I'll be along in a moment. Now, what's so desperately important?
This report on the new Boundaries Commission.
Well, what about it? All agreed. You were there.
I realize that. Sorry.
We have to push this through immediately, Simon. Don't tell me you're planning to hold things up.
Of course not. It's just that one of the constituencies that is going to disappear is mine.
Can't you try and change it?
How can I? It creates more winnable seats for the Conservatives. And it would be seen as an act of betrayal on my part on purely selfish grounds. Well, as minister in charge of the bill, if I tried anything clever, the opposition would crucify me.
So what can you do?
Shop around for a new seat to fight at the next election.
So we start traipsing around the country, do we? Carrying a placard saying wife and 2 kids to support. Well, look on the bright side. You could get a safer seat nearer London.
One in the Orkneys, fighting a Liberal. Look, I'm sorry to keep you, darling. I know you're already late.
It'll be all right. I know it will.
Thanks. But I'll need you to be with me.
I'll be there. It's time my locum got rid of his suntan.
I think the main fly in the ointment is still the trade union bill. Unless the PM is willing to modify, we could lose Europe on the back of it. And Pemkin's not making life very simple by gathering the waverers in our own party around him.
What's Pimkin got to gain?
Attention. As trivial as that.
Really? Well, there's certainly no chance of Henry modifying one sentence of the bill. He promised at the last party conference, and he intends to deliver by the time he goes to Blackpool. So, you keep working on those 50 waverers. Threaten, cajole, bully, bribe, anything, but get them in the right lobby on the night. Especially Pimkin. If you can persuade him and his disciples to walk through the I lobby, I won't be asking any questions.
I'll see what can be done.
And the infuriating thing is, Charles, he's got nothing to lose. His is one of the seats that disappears after this Parliament in the redistribution.
Seems to be about a dozen safe seats that'll fall vacant at the next election. I myself would recommend Littlehampton.
Where is that? Hampshire?
No, Sussex. It's next to Charles Seymour's constituency. In fact, it wouldn't be a bad idea. If you talk to Seymour about it, he's bound to know everyone involved in making the right decision.
Well, we're not exactly the closest of friends.
Well, that shouldn't make any difference. You're not poaching on his patch.
True.
And the next bet is Redcorn in Northumberland. It's 300 miles from London with no airport or mainline station.
God, help us. Talk with the devil.
Let me know what you decide.
So I must have it within 14 days. So if you can ring...
Charles, can I have a word?
Yes.
The constituency of Littlehampton. Can you brief me on it?
It was deepest blue. I can't remember what the majority was at the last election. Certainly equal to mine. Why do you want to know?
Because the boundary commissioners wiped out Coventry Central.
I'm sorry to hear it.
Sir Edward said that Littlehampton is on offer, and as I know it borders on your constituency,
Yes, it does. Actually, I know the chairman, Alexander Dalgleish. Do you want me to have a word?
It would be helpful to know exactly what stage they've reached over this election.
Nothing could be simpler. I'll talk to Dalgleish.
Well, thank you. I'd appreciate that.
How was the cinema?
I didn't go to the cinema. In fact, I was never going to the cinema. I went to the theatre.
All right. How's the theatre?
It was called Jumpers. It's about a man who talks to himself non-stop for 3 hours, while Diana Rigg, that's his wife, is totally ignored, lies around naked, sings songs to the moon, and has an affair with a man in a raincoat. You'd love it. And how was your day? Is the country still safe from Viking invaders?
The Viking invaders are going to join this country, if I have anything to do with it.
How nice. Rape and pillage yet. I thought the future was going to be dull.
Oh, by the way, what are you doing next Tuesday?
Tuesday? Nothing special? Oh, there's that charity do. Why?
I want you to meet Alexander Dalgleish. I've invited him over for dinner.
Is he a Viking?
Well, this year's profits are up again. Next year looks even better. So I'll probably try and go public in about 18 months' time.
That's a long time to wait. I was hoping it might be earlier. Banks were making grumbling noises about my overdraft, and I can't say I blame them. Look, we once agreed that if the Tories got in, you'd go public immediately. I was counting on
Yeah,
that.
I know. But you'll just have to trust my judgment. I'll be happy to take your shares off you now if you want. At market value, you still show a small profit.
No, I'll hang on now. I waited this long.
Would you like drinks, sir?
Yes, Scotch for me, please.
Rum and coke. Thank you. No ice. Thank you. Look, I know it's none of my business, but does the wife know about...
Well, the overdraft? Or you?
Whatever.
She knows I have an overdraft, and not, thank God, how much. I've got enough problems as it is. And, of course, she knows about you. Oh, I suspect she doesn't approve. She's a very cautious woman.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Doesn't concern her, Ronnie, and Elizabeth shouldn't concern you.
Sorry, just making conversation. How's the Home Office?
Challenging. And depressing. I've just spent 2 days in Northern Ireland.
I'd do what they did in Berlin. Build a bloody Great Wall straight across the country. Barbed wire, minefields, machine gun towers, a lot. Catholics on one side, Prots on the other. That'll keep them quiet. I could even tell you where you could get some breeze blocks on the cheap.
Ronnie, stick to the property business.
Just voicing the views of the common man.
The common man does not live in a £500,000 house in Hampstead, drive a Rolls Royce, and spend his bank holiday weekends in Bermuda. So leave the politics to me. You just take care of my money, okay?
Sure.
You had the same thing again and again for the last 3
When my
hours.
party was in power, I was pro-European, and now we're in opposition, I see no reason to do an about-turn. The principles that held true 2 years ago hold true today. Not all of us.
My honourable friend, give way!
Dennis Cast.
My honourable friend really support the peasant farmers of France before the sheep farmers of New Zealand.
Naturally, I would expect certain safeguards for New Zealand. But may I just say, Mr. Speaker, that if my honourable friend referred to coloured immigrants in such a context, the House would rightly be in uproar. Why is it therefore acceptable to the anti-marketeers to refer to French farmers as peasants?
Well, perhaps it's you that's the peasant!
Order! Order!
Well, I think my honourable friend has revealed his true colours, so can we be a little more constructive about this? I believe in a united Europe as a further insurance against the Third World War. This country has become a satellite of the United States. They had their troops here, they had their bases here, and they had their nuclear missiles here. Britain has become America's tinderbox because we have no power to resist force on our own. The finger on the button that dictates the future of our children is in Washington, not in Westminster. If we expect a say in our own destiny, then we should realize.
Thanks very much. What's the matter?
I'll come to that in a minute. First, I have some news for you. I've been asked by those in authority about you taking sook. I said I think you'd make a damn fine QC.
Thank you.
However, I'm going to need an undertaking from you first.
What kind of undertaking?
I'm going to sound like Mr. Barrett of Wimpole Street, but it has to be said. Stop this relationship you're having with another member of Chambers. If you must have an affair, Raymond, make it as far away from this office as possible. Finish it. Now. Before any damage can be done. And I'm not talking about Joyce. I'm talking about your legal career. I want your word that it will end. Immediately.
My private life is my own affair.
But not your public life.
Your point is taken.
It had to be said.
Yes, Mr. Gould?
Yes, Joanne, could you contact Miss Arnold and tell her to see me immediately, please?
Yes, Mr. Gould.
Alec, can I have a word?
I'm sorry, Charles, you're wasting your time. We're going to vote against Europe and nothing will change our minds.
Who's talking about Europe? This is far more serious and personal.
What do you mean?
I understand you're going to lose your seat at the next election. I thought I might be able to help. Of course, if you're not interested.
No, Charles, just a moment. Yes.
Why don't you get in? We don't want to make it too public.
Oh, yeah.
What's it worth if I secure you a safe seat for the rest of your life?
It's quite an offer, Charles.
No, it's not an offer, Pimpkin. It's a bribe. What's your career worth?
So it is about Europe.
I deliver a copper-bottom seat, and you deliver 12 votes. I think we can call it a fair exchange.
What if I could get them to abstain?
It's a deal. But I shall need it in writing.
And if I don't play ball, do you think?
You haven't got the seat yet, Alec, and I might find it necessary to ring Dalgleish and tell him about that awfully nice little boy that you made such a fool of yourself over when you were up at Oxford. Good night, Alec.
Good evening. My name's Dalgleish. To see Mr. Seymour.
Who is it, Carmelita?
Mr. Dalgleish, ma'am.
He's early.
Only by 5 minutes.
Charles, have you talked to the chairman yet about Littlehampton?
Yes, I'm just on my way to have dinner with him now. Can't stop, Simon, I'm late.
Look, thanks for all the trouble.
No trouble at all. And who's that?
Charles's father.
And it's either a fake Holbein, or Charles's father is 400 years old.
Yes, I must ask him about that when I see him. Are you interested in painting?
Enough. I'm surprised we've never met before. Do you ever come down to Sussex?
Well, sometimes. Not out of choice. I'm not very good at knocking on doors.
And what are you good at?
I have yet to find out.
Hello, Alexander. Sorry I'm late. Hello, darling. It's all right. I've been admiring your paintings. No, thank you.
I know you two have a lot to talk about, so I'll leave you to get on with it.
Well, thank you for a lovely dinner, Fiona. Now, Charles, I must pick your brains. Fire ahead. Delighted to be of help. Well, Sir Edward has sent me a pretty long list for us to consider, including a Home Office minister and 1 or 2 members of Parliament who'll be losing their present seats. Now, what do you think of this chap? He's the one who impressed me. Kerslake. Simon Kerslake. You don't have an opinion, Charles?
Yes.
So, what do you think of Kerslake?
Strictly off the record? Very good.
Kerslake?
Near the port. Taylor's 35. Afraid Kerslake's not quite the same vintage. Do I make myself clear?
He looks so good on paper.
On paper's one thing, but having him as your member for the next 20 years is quite another. You've got to have a man you can rely on, and his wife's never in the constituency, and so on. I'm sorry, I've gone too far.
No, I get the picture. Well, next we come to Gordon Crawford.
First class, but I'm afraid he's already been selected for Kingston.
Well, what about Pimpkin?
Ah, his looks are against him, as my grandmother used to say. But a very sound man, and extremely good in the constituencies, I'm led to believe.
Oh, you'd recommend him?
I would consider him very seriously. In fact, I'd snap him up before he gets adopted by another constituency.
Oh. Pity about Kerslake.
Strictly off the record.
Of course.
Morning, Charles. Is there any news?
Yes, but I'm afraid it's not very helpful. It appears that Dalgleish is not really interested in good advice.
You mean he's set on someone else?
I tried to reason with him. You know, some of these chairmen can be terribly autocratic. If I said to you that Alec Pimpkin was being...
Pimpkin?
Yes, very seriously considered, would you believe it?
Well, he's the last person
I know,
I'd have
it's a
thought.
pathetic choice. But obviously they're after someone who's anti-common market and pro-capital punishment. I'm awfully sorry, Simon, but the whole matter has been taken completely out of my hands. Cheer up. I'm sure you'll find another seat. I must go now. I'm late for the chief whip.
Good. Ah, Charles.
Morning, Richard. That's from Pimpkin. He and his outlaws will abstain. It's all there, in black and white.
How on earth did you manage it?
As Pimpkin says there, he put loyalty to the party before his personal beliefs.
All 13 suddenly saw the light in one blinding flash?
So it seems.
Well, Henry will be more than pleased.
We should win now.
The ayes have it! The ayes have it!
Redcorn. Market town on the River Tyne. Its Abbey Church of St. Dominic, containing the great stone staircase, dominates the town. The church and the monastery are founded 673, blah, 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 blah. Suffered frequently from raids by Scots from across the border. I wonder what they wanted.
We'll find out in a minute. I'm gonna hate doing this every weekend. We've still got a 20-mile car journey. What do you say we get the next train back?
I'm all in favour. But you're going to have to look for another job.
Littlehampton would have been perfect. There and back in time for lunch, swimming in the sea.
Oh, don't go on about it.
Well, it just doesn't make sense. Alec Pimpkin, of all people. I have to admit, he's cunning.
Oh, just think of Redcorn and all this lovely fresh air.
Oh.
At last.
Good of you both to come. It's a hell of a journey, isn't it?
Not at all. Very beautiful countryside.
Now, the form is we'll be interviewing 6 potential candidates, and their wives, of course. And you'll be the last, Mr. Kerslake. So you'll have time to look round the town. We'll have a wonderful abbey.
St. Dominic's, isn't it?
Well, yes. Have you been here before, then?
No, I read about it. It has a famous stone staircase, isn't that right?
Absolutely. Ah, it's refreshing to find somebody who cares about our little town. I'm very proud of it, you know. Will that be all right? Yes. This is Kerslake.
Thank you.
Come on, Ben. Out you come. Come on. There we are. Right. See you later.
What do you say? St. Dominic's or the Pig and Whistle?
The Pig and Whistle.
Where do you stand on hanging, Mr. Kerslake?
I'm against it. I do not believe that capital punishment acts as a deterrent, since most murders are unpremeditated and domestic, as Home Office reports reveal. Moreover, innocent men have been known to be hanged.
And murderers have been released from prison and killed again.
How do you feel about this year's farm subsidy?
Good on eggs, tough on beef, and disastrous for pig farmers. Or at least that's what I read on the front page of Farmers Weekly yesterday. You see, it hasn't proved necessary for me to have a great knowledge of farming in Coventry Central. But if I'm lucky enough to be selected for Redcorn, I shall try and learn quickly, and with your help, I shall hope to be able to master the farmers' problems.
Mrs. Kerslake, if your husband were to be offered the seat, would you be willing to come and live in Northumberland?
That would be impossible, I'm afraid. You see, I'm a doctor at St Mary's Hospital, Paddington, where I practice gynecology. Even though I support my husband in his career, I believe a woman has a right to a good education and the opportunity to use her qualifications to their best advantage.
Mr. Kerslake, do you agree that there's too much violence on television?
Yes, I do. Only last month I saw a program in which a man was stabbed in the back at least 5 times. It was, I believe, a party political broadcast on behalf of the Labour Party.
What happens now?
We wait. Hello.
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 Yeah.
I'll go and have a word with him. Hello. I'm Bill Travers. I'd just like to say you'll have my full support if the committee select you.
Thank you.
I'll understand if Redcorn prefers a man destined for the cabinet to a local farmer like me who spent his life on the back benches. I'll let you get on with your work.
It was very nice of him.
You were very good in there.
Felt as if I was at a lynching.
I wouldn't put that past that woman in the red hat.
You think you could be getting in? I think you stand a chance. I don't think you stand a chance.
My committee wishes to thank you all for going through this grim procedure. It has been hard for us trying to decide something which we hope not to have to discuss for another 20 years. The committee is going to invite Mr. William Travers to fight the Redcorn seat at the next election. Congratulations, Bill. Well done. Mrs. Travers.
Let's get out of here.
Let's go to the visitors' gallery.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Oh, goodbye. Thank you for coming.
Congratulations. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Simon! There'll be other seats.
What am I doing wrong?
We'd have hated it here.
10 years down the drain. What the hell am I expected to do next?
And apparently Hillary put her head into the cabinet room and said to the PM, "Can I be of any help?" As if she was some nanny that had seen a child graze its knee. Henry took one look at her and said no. One word, but 100 interpretations.
Your driver know where he's going?
He knows exactly where he's going. Oh, by the way, I see our friend Pimpkin has been selected for Littlehampton.
Has he indeed? Fancy that. I would have thought of it.
Oh, indeed.
Sir, my name is Terry Ryan. I'll be your driver.
Is this for me? The PM certainly doesn't waste his time, does he?
To the Department of Trade and Industry, sir.
You knew I was a minister before I did?
No, sir. They told me to pick up a smiling man as you left number 10.
Would you mind going via Knightsbridge first?
Want to tell your wife the good news?
Is there nothing you don't know about me, Terry? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Terry. Bye. Fiona?